G'day folks, and welcome to Gourmet Shed. And this week it's a continuation of magnetic uncoupling, because I've found out a few extra things over the course of the last week, and I've been working on a couple of ideas. And there was a suggestion made by someone on the forum and also someone on the YouTube channel recently that I should possibly try using rectangular magnets on my system as opposed to the circular magnets down in between the sleepers. And the logic behind that was that it would keep the coupling up and constant, because it would be flowing along effectively one magnet. And so I thought, well, there's a bit of strength in that sort of idea, so I thought I'd give it a try. And I had some magnets ordered in, and they're 15mm by 3mm by 2mm, and that's a block of them there, but it's they're little suckers like that. And so I started experimenting with them, and a few things happened. I felt that I was on the wrong track, because the problem was not so much the magnet, it was the way I was setting up the staple. And to cut a long story short, the very fine staples I was using, which are these little ones here, they're very fine. I've actually gone back to a heavier staple, and the logic behind that is that it's not the magnets that are causing the up and down movement as the staple passes over the magnet. It's actually the length of the tail on the staple that's connected to the coupling. And so if you can see this wagon here, if I can show it to you properly, I can't see what I'm doing here, but this has quite a long tail. I don't know whether you can really see that, but yeah, there's quite a long tail on that. And you'll notice at the front it's quite a short section just here, and then there's that long tail. Now what happens as the wagon hits the magnets, and the initial reaction is to pull down. Well, once that tail is down, it's actually long enough to spread over maybe 2 or 3 circular magnets, so there's always some downward force on it while it's over the magnets, and it keeps it in the upright position. And so I was still on the course of using the rectangular magnets, and so I've set up the whole system now based on them, and I've got some in place as an experiment. And what it's meant is that I've had to sort of change how I position the staples on the hook on the coupling. So I wanted to achieve a good clearance of the staple above the track, going over points and everything, if it was in the upright position. So it means I've had to set the staple higher up than I was with the jig to achieve that. So using the rectangular magnets, I find they don't have as much pull as the circular magnets, and in doing so I've had to set them on top of the sleepers. I'll show you what I mean. Now, as I said, these 15mm long, these magnets, and I found they actually work better with a 1 sleeper gap in between each one. Don't know why, but when you butt them all up together, and they will only go one way, you still get that pulsing sort of motion, whereas when they're separated it seems to work better. Don't understand that one, folks. Someone who understands physics and magnetism might be able to tell you, but that's just the way it works. So another little idea I had was all about covering up these magnets. to hide them. I mean, you can paint them as they are there, but they look a bit ordinary. And so a fair while back I got hold of some of this magnetic photo paper, and I got it from a $2 shop, and it's gone off actually. I don't think you'd bother printing anything on that, but it's magnetic stuff, you know, the stuff you stick on your fridge magnets and all that sort of thing. You know, plumber's details or whatever, real estate, you stick it on your fridge. It's that sort of stuff. So what I did was I got some of this photo paper, magnetic photo paper, and I cut 3mm strips, but I painted them first in various colours just to try it out. And I finished up with a dark brown colour, so which is pretty much like the back, I suppose, of the thingy, but without the shine on it. And so they'll just lay straight on top of the magnets because they stick to it. And I'll show you what that looks like. Well, that's sort of a half one, just to give you an idea. And I'll stick the other bit on. And because it's magnetic as well, it sticks to the magnets, no trouble at all. Now, I mean, really, to do this section properly, you would just cut one strip and colour it up to make it look like a sleeper or a bit of wood or whatever you want. But you can also make it whatever colour you like. Paint it bright yellow if you like, if you want to actually see your uncoupling area very clearly. I also used one piece where I painted the magnetic paper red, and then I used a hole punch and cut out a little circle and just sat that on top. I don't know whether I've still got that. I'll see if I can find it. Hang on a second. No, it's only a little, can't find it. But this is the same colour. So you can just stick that on there, that'll stay there. You can run a train over the top of that and it won't move. But yeah, you can use your imagination and you can get all sorts of weird and wonderful things here. Anyway folks, so I got this these rectangular magnets set up, and I got the staples sorted out, and I was running trains over them and it was all working. And then I discovered that with the staples set up, they were still working over the top of the circular magnets I'd put down in between the sleepers. So why take them out if they're working? So yeah, obviously the rectangular magnets have got a lower power than the circular magnets I've got, but it doesn't matter, it all seems to be working. Now with the staples set up high on the coupling, and clearing points and all that sort of thing when they're in the elevated position is very good if you want to do delayed uncoupling. And I've come up with an idea for delayed uncoupling. And how can I show you? I've just a moment. Right, well, I thought with these rectangular magnets, what if I could use them to hold the coupling up while the loco's close up to the wagon. What if I could use a magnet to actually hold the coupling up, because when the hook comes up like that, the staple is very close to the bar on the coupling. And so to make sure that would work even better, I've started mounting the staples on the front of the hook on the wagons. You can see there's a little one here. That staple is mounted, let's get it right here. That staple is mounted on the front of the drop down bar there. It's just super glued on, but the idea is that when that staple, when the coupling is up, that staple is very close to the front of the bar here. So that's why I've done that. So I've got it close to the coupling on the loco. And so what I did was I fitted a rectangular magnet under my little shunter, just under the coupling here, and I've taken the hooks off these couplings on the loco. So that little magnet there allows me to do delayed uncoupling around curves, over points, through S-bends. It will hold the coupling up. And I must have been very lucky when I glued that one on, because I got it in exactly the right spot. What happens is, I think whether it's a fault in manufacturing or what, there are some variations in this one group of magnets. There are slight variations in strength, and that can have a big impact on what you're trying to do. And gluing this magnet on to the coupling, then removing it, gluing it on, will drive you insane. I thought there's got to be a better way to do this. So what I came up with is, now what have I done with it? I've got a little part here somewhere which I've now lost. Okay, I'll have to find that. Just a moment. Okay, found it. Right, I'll just put it on a stick here so you can see it better. Right, that's a little connector, a little electrical connector. And I've got a magnet on the end of this stick. This is a shunter's pole, if you like. Now, I thought, what if I use one of these to actually fit under the screw on the front coupling, and because it's got a slot in it, I can slide it backwards and forwards, and all I have to do is open out this section here, make it flat, and you can stick a magnet on it. So it looks a bit like this. Where is it? Oh, I found the other part, folks. I'm stuck to the magnet. Okay, yeah. So what I've done is I've fitted it on the back of the loco. If I take that magnet off there, can you see that? Where are we? Okay, I've fitted it onto the under the screw on the coupling there, and you can see when I've flattened out that bit that I said I was going to open out, it's nice and flat, and you can stick a magnet on there like that, and if it's in the wrong spot, you can tweak it, you can slide it backwards and forwards, or you can just gently bend it backwards and forwards. And you'll find also with these silly little magnets that possibly one side of the magnet is stronger than the other, and if you turn it over, I mean, it's not perceptible when you're just moving it around, but you'll notice it when you bring it up against the coupling and try it up against a staple. One side might pull it, one side might not, but you can use that to your advantage. Now, if you need a bit more adjustment, you don't actually have to mount the magnet on the front of the thing. If you want to slide that forward, it will actually go on the back like that. So you've got a fair range of adjustment there, and let me tell you folks, if you're right up near the front here, as soon as you run up to a wagon, it'll just lift the hook. So right up the front's no good anyway. You've got to be near the back. So, but just to have that bit of adjustment, so that takes the pain out of it. I don't know how many times I super glued that front one on to get it right, and it's crazy doing it that way. You need adjustment. But anyway, it works. So I've just fitted up a little jinty with one on the front, and I can show you how that works. So we might have a look at that now. Right, what we've got here folks is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 magnets, 6 circular magnets down in between the sleepers, and you can see when I bring the wagon along, whoops, it lifts the coupling, and you notice that there's none of that pulsing that we used to get before. That's because of the long tail on the staple. That makes all the difference. Okay, now we'll take that up to the loco, and you can see that the magnet didn't have enough pull to raise the coupling, this magnet on the front of the loco down here. So yeah, nothing's happening there so far. So what I'm going to have to do folks is take this loco back a ways and start it up, and I'll run it up into an isolated section, and that way I can follow it all the way, and we won't have to worry about me jumping back on the controls and tripping over and cracking my head and the camera falling on the floor and all of you laughing at me. Okay, so I'll get it set up so that we can take a run at it, and then we'll be right. So here we go. Okay folks, what we're going to do is we're going to run the loco and the wagon down here along this track, and we've got one set of points there. We'll go over them, 2 sets of points, 3 sets of points, which is a 3-way, and then we come up here to the 4th set of points, and we've got 5 sets of points, and it'll come up here just to about here, where I've got an isolated section where it uncouples. So it'll stop by itself there. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, coupling up. loco stopped. Because of the momentum, and it was on the uncoupling area, it's actually moved away from the loco. But you get the idea there. Now the beauty of this is that I have some uncoupling magnets here. So before the delayed uncoupling, all I could do was leave wagons here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. I could only leave them there. So now I can bring a wagon in and say leave it down at the end of the truck here and then pull away from it. So we might have a go at that. Right, we've actually got 2 wagons, folks. Now all these wagons and the loco are coupled at the moment, and they're just coming down into the siding, and you'll see the coupling hooks go up in a sec. Very hard to film this, folks, but that's the I've had to come back and show you this one. You can see that the coupling is up. You can see how the magnet's probably attracting it there, and if I go back to the controls, we'll just pull that loco away. Sorry about the shaky camera, but it's difficult to do this. So I'll just pull him away now. There we go. Now I'll send the little shunter down to get those wagons. Now we'll bring them back again, and let's say we drop them just outside the parallel with the goods shed here, folks. So notice the loco doesn't have to stop over the uncoupling magnets. Piece of cake. Now the other thing we can do is, I don't have any uncoupling magnets in this siding next to the goods shed here. There's nothing in there. But what I can do is run up and get these wagons up here on the other siding, on the other side of the wall, take them up here to the those little round magnets I showed you before, just up in the track here. I can go past them and then push those wagons back into that siding up there, because the loco has the magnet in it, and we can do delayed uncoupling. So we'll send the loco up there now to pick them up. Right, we've got them up past the magnets there now. Okay, we should be able to push them back all the way into that siding and just leave them there. There we go. Okay folks, there we go. That's sort of changed the whole ball game, I think. The tension locks will never be as good as KDs, I feel, especially for delayed uncoupling. You've got more choices with KDs, but with delayed uncoupling using this method, it sure changes how we do things when we're shunting wagons around, and those unsightly uncoupling ramps are gone. We're down to magnets. Even if they're sitting on top of the sleepers, they still look a heck of a lot better than a dirty great big uncoupling ramp. And now with the addition of the magnet under the coupling, and keeping the coupling raised while you're pushing, you can set those wagons down wherever you want to. So it's a very fiddly thing to set up. It takes a bit of trial and error, but I think it's well worth it in the end. And really, it's not that difficult. So yeah, especially with the adjustment, that makes all the difference. So yeah, give it a go, folks. See what you reckon. So that's the latest saga in magnetic coupling and uncoupling and delayed coupling. Yeah. So there you go. Anyway, see you next week. Cheers. Gourmet.